The stage is empty, save for a single microphone stand. The audience buzzes with a palpable, almost nervous energy. This isn't just anticipation for a comedy show. It's the collective breath held before a reckoning. When Richard Pryor walks onto that stage in Live on the Sunset Strip, he isn't merely performing, he is presenting evidence. The scarred, brilliant, painfully honest evidence of a man who has just stared into an abyss and decided to talk about what he saw there. The film, directed by Joe Layton, is often categorized simply as a concert film. But that classification feels insufficient. Released in 1982, it documents Pryor's first major stand-up performance after his infamous 1980 freebasing accident, which left him with severe burns over more than half his body. The production was a deliberate, high-stakes endeavor. Unlike the raw, cinema verite feel of Richard Pryor live in concert 1979, Sunset Strip was conceived for a theatrical release. It was shot over 2 nights at the Hollywood Palladium, not on the actual Sunset Strip, a detail that adds a layer of symbolic Hollywood staging to the raw confession about to unfold. The cinematography by Haskell Wexler's frequent collaborator, John A. Alonzo, is sleek, employing dramatic lighting and careful close-ups that frame Pryor not as a distant comic, but as a subject under intimate observation. This formal precision creates a container for chaos. The production design is minimal. A dark void, a simple bandstand for the Paul Schaefer-led orchestra, and that lone mic. Everything is engineered to focus relentlessly on Pryor's physical and emotional presence. The camera doesn't cut away to laughing audience members for easy punctuation. It stays on him, forcing us to sit with every pause, every sweat bead, every flicker of pain that crosses his face. And it is the body that becomes the first, unspoken text of the performance. Pryor moves with a new, careful economy. There's a slight stiffness, a visible consciousness of his physical self that wasn't present in his earlier, more frenetic work. Before he even speaks, his body tells a story of survival and fragility. This physicality transforms the stage from a platform for jokes into a site of testimony. Thematically, the entire performance is an act of narrative reclamation. The accident and his addiction aren't just topics. They are the central trauma he must circumnavigate and integrate. His famous bit about the fire, "You know what I learned? That fire is hot," operates on multiple levels. On the surface, it's a perfectly crafted punchline of absurd understatement. But beneath that, it's a devastating commentary on the blinding obviousness of self-destruction, on the humiliating simplicity of the lesson learned at catastrophic cost. He turns his own worst moment into a communal lesson, diffusing its horror with laughter, while ensuring we never look away from its cause. This leads to the core of Pryor's genius in this special, the alchemy of trauma into connection. He discusses his heart attack, his relationships, his childhood, and his addiction not as isolated anecdotes, but as points on a map of a deeply flawed human experience. His character work, from the old wino to the panicked man realizing he's on fire, isn't just imitation, it's empathy. He embodies these figures to explore the societal and personal conditions that create them. When he acts out the voice of his own heart during the attack, "I'm tired of this shit, Richard," he externalizes an internal dialogue, making the physiological feel psychological, and the personal feel universal. The atmosphere of the film is one of charged intimacy. The laughter from the audience often has a release valve quality, a collective exhalation after a tense, truthful observation. The performance feels less like a monologue and more like a dialogue with his own past, with the audience acting as witness to the conversation. This creates a unique contract with the viewer. We are not passive consumers of comedy, we are accomplices in an act of public healing. The film's structure supports this, building from reflections on the accident through societal observations to culminate in a raw, extended segment about his journey to Africa. The Africa material is the philosophical climax. He describes landing and realizing, "There ain't no niggers here." The line is delivered not with triumph, but with a weary, profound sadness. It's the punchline to the joke of American racism, and the setup for a new, more complicated identity he must now navigate. It's the moment the personal excavation expands into a cultural one. Joe Layton's direction understands the weight of this arc. The final shots aren't of roaring applause, but of a spent Pryor, soaking in the adulation, looking somehow alone with his thoughts on the now empty stage. The spectacle is over. The man remains. In conclusion, Richard Pryor, live on the Sunset Strip, endures not because it is his funniest work, though it is brilliantly funny, but because it is his most transparent. It exists in the rare space where performance art, autobiography, and social commentary fuse completely. The film is a masterclass in using craft, cinematic and comedic, to facilitate uncraftable honesty. It shows us that the greatest courage an artist can display is not fearlessness, but the decision to be seen while still afraid, still scarred, and still searching. It transcends its era and genre to stand as a permanent document of a voice that refused to be separate from its source, a performance where the punchlines and the pain share the same root, and where laughter becomes the sound of recognition, not escape. Thank you for watching until the end. We pour our passion into every single video essay, exploring the stories behind the movies we all love. If you stumbled upon this video by chance, there is a very high probability you might never see our channel again in your feed. So please, take a moment to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and ring the bell. We are actively growing this community of cinema lovers, and your support is what helps us make our content better and more insightful every single day. Let's explore the magic of filmmaking together. See you in the next one.